Welcome back, students. This time we're going to do question 2. In Leaving Cert Examination 2020 Foundation Level. Let's jump straight in. Michelle wanted a metal sign, as in the diagram below, made for her shop. Shape ABGH and GDEF are squares of side 30 and 20 respectively. Now this word respectively just means that it has put a list that this one is 30 by 30 and this one here is 20 by 20. Okay, that is the given situation. So to understand the problem is to understand the situation to begin with, and then also to understand the questions. So we move on to the first question now. Or just before we do, we could add a little bit of data and information to our understanding of the problem. So there would be 30 along here as well, and there would be 20 along here as well. So it gives us a deeper understanding of the situation we find ourselves in before we go on to answer the questions. So why don't we go on to the questions? Find in centimeters the perimeter of the sign. So the perimeter of the sign is the distance all the way around. So one strategy would be to start somewhere and to systematically work our way through. So I'm going to start here and start writing down the numbers, all the partial lengths that we'd have to transverse across. 30 plus 20 plus, I didn't put a number here, but I could write 30 here. I could write 20 here. I'm going around a corner now up here to another 20, around a corner again to another 20. I'm going up along here, which is 30, because it's opposite. It's in a square of 30 side, and then finally another 30. Okay. Now we could put that all into the calculator, or we could come up with some strategy of looking for units of 50. So either way, there are 4 50s in there. Okay. Just a quick little one there for you is that if you were to go around, if you cut a corner off what was otherwise a rectangular shape, then the perimeter doesn't actually change, and you could take the perimeter of the large rectangle. And of course the large rectangular, it was a square with 50 on each side. So I'm not surprised we're multiplying 4 by 50, getting ourselves 200 centimeters as the perimeter. Okay, we're going on to part B of this question now. Second part of the question, find in centimeters squared the area of the sign. Okay, now we go to our formula table and see, can we find under length and area, is there a rectangle shown? And the problem is there isn't. Okay, but there is a formula there that is the correct formula, and it's to do with a parallelogram. Okay, so it is in under length and area, which is the section, this type of question we're answering. There is this formula here on page 8, which says that the area is the base multiplied by the height. And of course, in the case of a rectangle, that's just, well, that's just like this. But it isn't. It's like this. Okay, where one of those little triangles sticking out there has been moved back here, but it's the same. So we have our formula. So it's nice to know we have a formula for the area of a rectangle hidden in underneath the parallelogram. And it's the base A times the height. So we can go back to our question now. Well, it's not that simple actually, because of course I forgot the fact that it's a compound shape, it's not a rectangle. However, we can easily answer it by looking at the partial areas. So will we think of it as adding up 1, 2, 3 areas, and their areas, their partial areas, the area of each one is 900 because 30 30s is 900, 600 because 20 30s is 600, and 400 because 20 20s is 400. So these are the numbers we need to add: 900, 600, and 400. Now you need to show your workings. It's very important. In case you make any mistake, you won't get partial credit. So you want to do this, and that's equal to 1900. Now they said to give your answer in centimeters squared, which means they're not going to punish you for not putting it in, but you should put it in. Okay, we'll drive on to the next bit. The sign was cut from a square sheet 50 by 50. Okay, so the way it is really is that our sheet looks like this. And these are 50 by 50. And the question is, what percentage of the square sheet was used? Okay. So we know what was used was 1900. So we're going to make a fraction of the amounts of area. Now the total for 50 and 50 is 50 times 50, or 50 squared on your calculator, which is 2,500. So we're going to put 2,500 here, and we're going to turn our fraction into a percentage by multiplying by 100%. Okay? You put that in your calculator and you get 76%. Now that's the end of question 2. As always, students, I will see you in the next one. And keep going, you're doing great.